Age wrinkles the body, quitting wrinkles the soul. My friends, let's jump into these charts. I want to show you what we have seen happen over the last month or so, just on Apple alone. And if you guys like me showing you some of these real-life demonstrations as to the success of using the STC with the 200 EMA and the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, the little measuring tool that we use here for short and long trades, I'll be happy to try to incorporate those in. Let me know if this is helpful. Now, I showed you this before. When it first happened, we jumped into an up trade on Apple. This is before it rotated over. That trade did not work. We got out with a loss of about 2.6%. We immediately rotated over to the down trade there, and we had a win of 4.96%. We then, and let's see, the up trade was there on, let's see here, it was a very, very short up trade that did not work on the 21st of April. Rotated right over against us. We then switched around, had the 4.96 win. That started on the 22nd, and then we hit our 4.96 down trade on the 26th in the afternoon. Then a few days passed. We had things move up and then pop down again. STC rolled over from green to red. We're below the 200 EMA. We jumped in there to try to make a successful trade. It was not successful. We had a loss of 1.03% when the STC turned against us. It moved just above. We took that little bit of a loss and then waited for about a day, and things rotated over again. We jumped in on the 5th of May, and that trade proceeded all the way through the morning of the 12th. That was this morning, for a down move of 7.97%. So overall, we had a loss of 2.61%. We had a win of 4.96%, a loss of 1%, a win of 7.97%. Does that appear to you that we are using our 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio? We're using our STC, and again, you can see that out of 4 trades, we had 2 good ones, but those 2 good ones so outweighed the 2 bad ones as to, again, put us in a double-digit profit. Is that not okay in less than a month? So again, that is what I'm trying to teach you guys here. That is what I want you to practice trade. That is what I want you to see success with. Now, we're not a stock calling service. We're an education firm. I don't give market advice, but I do show you what it is we practice here, and I just ask you to see if it works for you. It doesn't cost you anything, 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. That is all we ask. Let's jump into the 5 charts we cover every day. And of course, look here. Here's the S&P 500. We had a short trade here that started when? It started on May the 5th, and of course, it ended in the afternoon on May the 11th. That was yesterday afternoon for 5.06%. Again, quite nice on that short trade, is it not? You might say, Tom, how do you do a short trade on this? Are we talking puts? Could, but of course, SH. That is the inverse of the S&P 500. Got a great Trading Inverse Funds, How to Make Money When Markets Crash. I encourage you to take that. You can find it at YouTube. Now, let's move on. Well, before I was just showing you what we did, but what happened today, it of course went further down 0.10%. Of course, things were plumbing much lower, and then things recovered some at the end of the day, down just a little bit, but still overall negative 15. We just see the markets continuing to trundle down, but did lessen those losses at the end of the day. Means when we're a negative 15, of course, that means the 4 on the success multiplier formula comes from the 2-day, and the 10 comes from the weekly, and of course the 1 comes from the half day. Same thing on the Qs. In fact, that Qs trade ended in the afternoon on the 11th. Also, how much was that? 7%. We risked 3.5% to gain 7%, a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Those of you who've taken that ATR training, you know that if you just win 4 out of 10 times, you're a winner. Now, can you do better than 4 out of 10 times? Of course you can. So again, all we're asking is that you practice this, try it, see if it doesn't work for you. When we look at what happened on the Nasdaq 100, we can see that it was down further for the day and then recovered some in the afternoon, down just 0.25%. Now let's move on to 20-year bonds. Where are we there? Well, look at what happened with 20-year bonds. We jumped into that hoping for a 4.52% win, went down close to that, and then ticked back up, went from red to green on the STC. We pulled that trade, and I gave you that number yesterday. I don't have it in front of me. I think we made 1.13%. I believe that's what it was, instead of the 4.52. Why? Because we pulled it when our STC rotated over into the green. So instead of making 5.32%, we made 1.17. Is that okay? That's fine. We'll deal with it. We didn't lose anything. We didn't stay in for a loser. So again, sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. Using this great little tool, this great little measurement tool where we set our profit and loss bands, it is just beautiful. It keeps you honest, doesn't it? And again, on TLT, what's the short of that? TBF. That is the inverse of TLT. It goes up at the same percentage that TLT goes down. Now, let's keep moving on. Oh, and by the way, we see that we've now gone green on the half day. Where are we on the 2-day? 2-day still negative, and the weekly is still negative. So what does that mean we are? We're at a negative 14. We're still well below that 200 EMA. So what are we looking for with it going up like this? We're waiting for things to rotate over again so we can jump into a down trade. That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's go to gold. What is up with gold? Well, we're in a down trade on gold. And again, gold doesn't have a good inverse fund. DGZ is one of them. I don't like it because the bid and the ask are too far apart, means it's illiquid. So on gold, you need to be practice trading puts. Now, you want to know how to trade puts and calls, then of course become a supporter of the channel at Patreon. We have a 3-part training, Options Made Simple the Charting Wealth Way. The first thing you get in your welcome aboard package is that training. Consider it. I think it's the best options training on the internet, and it's free to our Patreon members at any 3 of the support levels. Now, we're hoping to make 6.28% on this down move on gold. We're risking 1.81%. So again, it's going in the right direction. I'm happy with where it is right now. We're at a negative 15, means the weekly's down, 2 days down, and the half day is down. So we'll keep an eye on gold. Gold was down for the day 1.53%. Of course, I want gold to go up. I like going long on gold, but right now, gold is going down. So hence, that is where we are. That's what's up with gold. Now, what about Bitcoin? You guys know we had that great down practice trade in Bitcoin. In just the matter of 2 days, 13.61%, boom. That worked out rather nicely. Bitcoin has continued to move down, 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 down. You guys ask me, how do I capitalize on something that is just rocketing down? And look at Bitcoin. You had candles just huge. Would you just stop there, take your profit, and get out? I'd say the smart people do that. What could you do if you wanted to stay in and try to garner more? How about just sell half your position? Let the rest of it ride until your STC goes green or until you start getting green candles. That's something to consider. If you have certain ETFs or stocks that you think about practicing that on, then practice that on them and see how well it works for you. I tell you over and over again, stocks, ETFs, cryptocurrencies, they all have their own personalities, and those personalities change throughout the year, coming up to earnings, going into warnings, all sorts of stuff. So pay attention to those things. That's why we encourage you when you're in a practice trade to always pay attention to what is going on, taking notes and keeping those so you can use them in the future to your benefit. Learn. Don't relearn lessons. Learn them once, note them down, and remember them. That is where we are, folks. Bitcoin continuing to just hammer down. Entire crypto space hammering down. Not a place where I am hoping for anything to go long anytime soon. I am staying away except for practicing these short trades. That's where we are, my friends. As we end the day on Thursday, go into Friday. If you are a Patreon member, I will be putting together the weekly vertical crossover list for you, getting it out. Also, if you are a Patreon member and haven't listened to the live Q&A from yesterday that we do once a month for our Patreon members, where we answer your questions, help you backtrack the ETFs and stocks you're interested in. That went out to you yesterday. I think it's about 45 minutes long, chocked full of great material. You want to support the work we do here at the channel, become a Patreon supporter. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.